Hello everyone, welcome to the Web of Wonder. My name is Jennifer EIREEN. We have another full moon right now. The moon is in Aquarius, the sun and Mercury are conjunct in Leo. We have a bit of an intense time due to a T-square with Uranus. We have another T-square with some major planets, and it may cause a lot of different energies right now. It's a whole collection of crazy stuff going on, basically. I'm going to share more about this in a moment. Before I begin, I would like to welcome everyone to the channel. If you're new or if you've watched before, I deeply appreciate it that you're here. I would like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel to help me support my work, to encourage me to make more videos here, and if you enjoy it, to give some feedback. That would be beautiful. So yeah, before I talk about the transits, I want to start off with a little story. So I live in Berlin. Berlin is a crazy city. Yeah, so weird stuff happens all the time. Everyone basically does whatever they want. You're kind of used to it when you live in the city. Yet sometimes there are these little moments where things get especially strange. So I was on my way home from work. A lot of synchronistic events had been happening. I was reading a crazy book, downloading a lot of information through that, having some weird synchronistic messages pop up and experiences with people on the way home. A lot of symbolism surrounding Neptune, Neptune's energy, and people seemed to be extra expressive with how they were choosing to style themselves, even for Berlin. It was just that little bit of Aquarius, Leo, full moon vibe that I could definitely perceive. What happened for me was a whole journey of noticing and processing. It touched me very deeply because all of this is happening on my sun and Mercury. So that's where the moon is, and it's directly in opposition to the sun and Mercury in the sky, which is a lot of energy being focused and being highlighted. I also have my Chiron in Leo, so this brings up a lot of fears in me. I have a lot of confrontations right now with myself, with my own shadows, with my own wounding, and the old stories that are ready to be transmuted and transformed and reshaped and retold. So I was experiencing a lot of energy, and I was feeling a lot of fear and anxiety coming up. People were so expressive and everything felt crazy to me that it gave me the somatic experience of being really high, but on kind of a psychedelic trip that you didn't choose to be on. So it was not necessarily a pleasurable high feeling for me. And being on my way home, trapped in this S-Bahn, I also could not necessarily go anywhere in the moment. Tried to work through the energies and channel them. There was a particularly interesting character there. Almost no clothing on, wearing fur tails, covered in gold paint and gold put onto their skin, wearing huge feathers, tribal markings tattooed all over the body. And everyone was noticing this character. People were also really afraid to get close. There was almost this invisible bubble around this person, and it just filled the air with so much tension. And this tension was building and building, and I could feel it, and it feels like tension before a storm. It's a somatic experience, yeah? So what then happened was when we all got off the S-Bahn, this person was actually starting a conversation with another person who was very heavily trying to avoid them. But by beginning that conversation, it felt like it was breaking the ice, breaking the tension. Just hearing their voice, hearing them talking, another layer of the personality unfolding, it just brought a huge relief to a lot of people. It felt like a wave of relief of this person that people were trying so hard to not disrespect and to not look at. To not show how uncomfortable they are. This person was breaking the ice. And something interesting happened from that. As I was walking home, I noticed these waves of relief through my body. I feel like this reminded me somatically that when something is really crazy and noticeable and loud, we don't have to pretend that it's not there out of some kind of respect or an idea of feeling comfortable or not. But sometimes we are allowed to speak it out, to address it, to notice something that wants to be noticed. And it felt like this wave of permission, of relief, of sharing things that are being noticed. All of the anxiety that had been in my body seemed to suddenly transform into waves of excitement and a desire to share about all of the synchronicities, about all of the thoughts and ideas that this person, who many people seem to avoid, was actually giving me, like through their presence. I felt all of the synchronicities of Neptune, and this person felt like a representation of Mercury and Neptune combined, wearing the outfits of Leo and wearing the attitudes of Aquarius. And it was like a huge synchronistic moment for me. And feeling that excitement, that joy to share, it just used all of that anxious energy and turned it into something beautiful. And it also reminded me of other moments in life where I had been in crazy situations with a lot of intense energy, with a lot of self-expression, where my wound is in Leo. And instead of feeling just anxiously scared, feeling anxiously excited. And it's that excitement about sharing, about talking about something and witnessing and connecting the dots that allows me often to reconnect with the joy and the beauty and the celebration. And all of a sudden, negative feelings seem to drop away. Jealousy drops away, competition drops away, insecurity drops away, even tiredness drops away. So this is how this full moon right now feels for me very strongly, and I can imagine that it feels like this for many of us right now. It's an intense push and pull, back and forth. We're being confronted with extremes. Mars and Jupiter are still sitting together quite close in Gemini. This is the energy of extremes. This is the energy of also the ability to communicate, to bring messages, and to travel in different dimensions of perception. While Mercury, who rules and governs that energy, is retrograding. So it's a little bit of, a back and forth between different modes of experiencing, and going back and forth between being scared, being excited, having ideas, then feeling like you feel the opposite, wanting something, not wanting it at all, having polar opposite urges and desires, wanting to act and move forwards, but feeling kind of like you're moving backwards, and a bit of general confusion, but also a huge awakening, a huge impulsive energy and a releasing communication, releasing somatically stored information, releasing nervous system anxiety and stress, releasing things. And releases can take all shapes and forms. With this opposition, sun and moon in Leo, in Aquarius, this is all about individuality and collectiveness. This is about all of my topics, and how are my topics part of the collective expression, and how is the collective actually giving me information about myself? How is my expression a part of the communal experience? All of these topics. The full moon is a huge moment of culminated energy, where it's very intense, it's at the peak, it has gathered a lot of momentum, and it wants direction. It wants to be guided and aimed. It wants to be pointed at something, wants to be released towards something. It's ready to be sent. So this energy is already a bit intense. And what we have is a T-square, which is an opposition between two aspects and another planet squaring both of them at the same time. This is the Sun, Mercury, the moon on the other side, and right in a square to both of those, to all three of those, is Uranus. So this is why this energy feels so electric. It's a little bit tense and intense sometimes. There are things that happen really suddenly. Taurus is the realm of the earth, but it's also the realm of stability. So things may be suddenly changing, shaken up. We have a back and forth. Will something work? Will it not work? There may be resources suddenly falling away. Then maybe the resources are not falling away. Actually, we don't know. We're in a state of unknowing. Nothing is safe right now. What do we do? These are questions that are coming right now. With this Uranus transit, of course, it's about transgenerational topics. It's about collective topics. It's not only personal, it's very global. We're having a global experience right now of this. And you can see this in the world. There's so much tensity still. There's so much sudden changes and unforeseen twist of events that we have really gotten used already to, like, just expecting the unexpected. So I feel what will help us to navigate these energies, we have Scorpio on the other side. So if we want to complete that square, we'll find a bit of balance, bringing in that Scorpio energy. So Scorpio is focusing on things that are not physical. When we feel unsafe in the physical, it may bring us some relief and some help and some support to focus on what is not physical, to work with the energies, to work with the emotions, to find stabilization there. But ultimately we want transformation. So recognizing how those outer circumstances, the things that are falling apart, falling away, may actually be in alignment with your ability to transform, and may actually be a reflection of inner transformations, of emotional transformations, of spiritual transformations, of energetic transformations that are happening. And all of a sudden it makes a bit more sense because you can understand what it is resonating with, and that it is actually connected to something that can be understood on a non-physical level. So just widening the scope of information as well, widening the scope of resources. We have another intense T-square with this full moon. We have Jupiter and Mars in conjunction in Gemini, and this is already very intense, but these two are also T-squaring to other aspects. On one side we have Saturn, on the other side we have Venus. This brings up the old topics of limitation versus expansion. When is enough enough? Why are we doing things? I feel like Venus is really asking the question of, what do I want, but why? Why do we want this? What is the desire? Where is the love behind all of this? How is this connected to love? And through love, how can we manage and mitigate and navigate the situation? And Saturn is really demanding structure, demanding systems in place to provide some kind of support. And this is a tricky energy because Mars and Jupiter are really right now not so much wanting those systems, not so much wanting to consider the values, but they just want to do. They just want to move. They just want fast, quick. They think. Right now they're thinking. And they think that thinking is enough, but it's not all. So Venus is in Virgo. That's an earth sign. The values need to be in alignment with the body. They need to be in alignment somatically. They need to be in alignment with the earth. They need to be in alignment with how matter forms itself together to become something. So it needs to make sense. The laws of attraction, it needs to make sense with the laws of nature. And Saturn in Pisces is really just there reminding us that it's all connected to what we believe and how we access spiritual dimensions, and including those spiritual systems as part of our guiding forces, but also being really able to navigate where do changes need to be made, where can we switch in between the different dimensions, the different types of spirituality, the different ways of feeling a connection to spirit, utilizing the different levels, because that's the Gemini energy, is also traveling in between different levels of consciousness, levels of information. So this is a tricky situation here, because not only are there two T-squares, but Mercury is right in this full moon setting, right there at the sun's side, and it's a retrograde movement. It's just a total different quality of moving. It's not the usual forward, I know where I'm going type of moving. It's a very weird and unique and unexpected way of moving back and forth and all around and here and there, and not moving at all for some moments and feeling like stress and pressure, but then also feeling like weird little loopholes you could take. It's a crazy mix. It's a crazy soup. And so the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, where we have this T-square, which means that this Uranus energy is really highlighted. It's really present. And Mars and Jupiter are in a T-square with Venus and Saturn, but they're also sextiling the sun and they're trining the moon. So not only is that conversation happening, but that conversation is really also happening together with this full moon conversation right now. We have also Neptune in sextile with Uranus. And at the same time, we have Neptune in sextile with Pluto. So all of these big players, big planets, all of these wide and honestly hard to grasp energies, because they're so beyond the self. They're outside of our world. They're beyond the boundaries of our perception. They are all right now in these alignments with each other, sextiling and trining, which are a lot of expansive, flowing, energetic highways. This energy right now is big. These changes that we're making right now are big. These confrontations happening right now are big. These things that are wanting to evolve, they are huge. They are for your whole generation. They are for your entire lineage. They are for the entire humanity. They are for the entire universe. This is how big everything feels right now. We also have a trine between the sun, the moon, and Chiron. So all of these happenings, I feel them as a deep, deep systemic realization of invisible loyalties, of unconscious hidden energies, of attachments we have to beings and ideas and beliefs and ways of behaving that right now are slowly being unraveled more and more and more and more and more. And it feels like this endless process of unraveling. But at the same time as we are unraveling, new things are being woven. New things are being written, are being experienced. It's not only an endless unraveling while we are just sitting and waiting and nothing's happening, but we are unraveling more and more at the same time, building, crafting, expressing, demanding, finding, searching. It all happens in this dance that is so non-linear. It's hard to grasp. This is also this moon in Aquarius reminding us there are things that are bigger than us. There is something that is maybe hard to grasp. Maybe it's a new way of thinking about the usual. Maybe it's a new way of incorporating actions and behaviors that may seem weird and we don't understand it, and we may feel an urge to make fun of it at first, but then if we really tune into it, we can actually find a lot of sense and a feeling of freedom and the experience that we can actually grow beyond what we thought was the boundary, what we thought was the limitation. We can expand our abilities. We can expand our comfort zones. We can expand our view and start incorporating again into that view things that are not just connected to the personal ego, but really start expanding that horizon again, feeling that yes, we are connected. Yes, this is what is happening over there is also touching me, is also affecting me. And at the same time, this Aquarius energy is a beautiful opportunity to feel and sense, while at the same time bringing in a little bit of sane and necessary detachment. So it's also this back and forth right now between feeling like I'm in the emotion, I'm out of the emotion, I'm able to perceive it, but now I'm in it again and everything feels so intense, and now I don't care about anything at all, and now I have to care about everything because everything is part of me and I am part of everything. It's a lot of back and forth. So what I feel is a great support at this time, this is also what supports me, and maybe it will help some of you, is to observe what is going on. What are the details you can find in the collective? What are the things you are experiencing? And how does it weave into your personal story? What information is this bringing up for you? What is it reminding you of? And what comes up as a desire to be expressed from that? What memories do you have right now? What experiences have you felt before and it's a reminder right now of something? What story are you excited about sharing right now? What is that causing you anxiety? And is there something that will help you break the ice? Are you also able to sit in the discomfort of unresolved, knowing for a fact that everything keeps moving and changing and turning? Are you able to witness what is happening without interfering from your personal place of wounding, but being able to take yourself a step back, observe and wait, and then respond and react when you feel a natural pull from love to share, from love to speak, being pulled forwards and outwards by the forces of the commitments to your passions, the commitments to your desires, the commitments that you made to your self-love, that you made with yourself. This is so much energy. This is so much energy right now. It's even hard for me to put it all into words right now because it feels so complex. It feels so nuanced. It feels so strange and unique and familiar at the same time. And yeah, as I mentioned, I have a lot going on in Aquarius. Some things going on in Leo. This is a bit of a challenging one. It's beautiful as it is challenging. And I think I am going to move forwards in this week with actually remembering some of the things I have been wanting to do for months now that have not been done at all. For example, repotting a lot of plants that I have so many plants, just repotting some of them that really need a bigger pot, and some new baby plants that have not been planted into soil yet, and doing that on the full moon I think is a beautiful idea. And on the other hand, while getting some of the things done that do feel important, also breaking away some of those things from the to-do list, opening up some space and allowing myself to not have finished everything, and to also not make things more important than I think they are, because this Uranus is really just like every day shifting the priorities. And this Mars and this Jupiter in Gemini are really widening the ability to be flexible. So to just embrace that right now, not be so hard on yourself, actually love yourself for everything that you do, that you try, even that you're sitting here right now, watching this video, listening to this video. Who are you? You are someone who is deeply interested in understanding. You are right now here, fulfilling your commitment to yourself, to observe, to witness, to ask questions, to want to be a better version of yourself every single moment, and loving every single moment of yourself that you have been, every version of you that you have been. Understanding that everything serves its purpose, and while everything is naturally transforming and changing and evolving, everything that has been has also had an impact that was relevant, that brought you to this moment. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the world for slowly waking up and trying. I'm proud that even though so much is going wrong, and so many people and beings and parts of the world are in deep pain, in deep suffering, I am proud that we are still trying. We are still trying, and we are supporting each other, we are lifting each other up again and again. And the more pain and suffering there is, the more lifting up and support there will always be. And we are able to change together, and you individually are able to go through the challenges that you are going through right now. With a lot of love and deep compassion, I wish you the best with this full moon, with this journey. If you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends, with your family, your loved ones, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to share anything that inspired you or that you're experiencing right now in the comments. I love hearing your stories and connecting. So thank you all so very much, and I will tune in next time. See you soon.